All right, guys. I just got home from school and I tried to get here as quick as I could. See, I still got these on and everything. Anthony Davis was just traded to the Washington Wizards. Holy, I mean, wow. I don't even know. I got home and I turned this on right away and I couldn't even. Whoa, I didn't see this. I was driving home. I did for a 2026 first round pick. Uh Wow, I wonder what that first round pick is. But let's get to the good stuff, I guess. The Dallas Mavericks are trading 10-time All-Star Anthony Davis to the Washington Wizards. Well, as long as Jane Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum for Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley, and 2 first-round picks. Now, I'm gonna say this because this is literally, as you see, I didn't even see the McCain thing, which I guess we'll talk about real quick too, and anything else that might come through while I'm doing this. But the Washington Wizards are doing huge things, dude. They have won this deadline by far, as of right now. The only thing that is going to make me be like, that kind of sucks is what that those first round picks are. Is that first round pick for this season? Part of me thinks it might be because they didn't give up, bro. Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, who, no disrespect, I believe he was a part of the Wemby draft class, which was through. This would be his third season. He's on his third team already. Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley. Who cares? 2 first, 3 second round picks. Now, it really matters what this. Kenny, shout out to Kenny, shout out to Pierre. Dallas is receiving a 2026 Thunder first round pick and a 2030 protected Warriors first round pick from the Wizards, as long as the second rounders. Okay. So that is the Wizards are acquiring future Hall of Famer, top 75 player. And yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, so they traded Bradley Beal and Kuzma into Trae Young, Davis, and 5 pick swaps. The Mavericks now have the resources, starting with a likely lottery pick and a late first, which is that 2026 OKC pick. So the Washington Wizards just got Trae Young and Anthony Davis within like a, I don't know, 2 or 3 week span. 2 guys that are all-star, all NBA caliber players when healthy. That's the problem. How much are we going to see these guys play together? Because if you're telling me that the Wizards potentially next season, because I don't know if we're going to see them at all this year, but next season might come in with Trae Young, Trey Johnson, Keyshawn George, AD, and Alex Sarr. AD gets to play the 4. He could rebound next to, because he doesn't really want to play the 5. Alex Sarr can play the 5. They're both pretty not switchable bigs, but like, my mind's flustered. What is the word? They're both I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. I can't think of it right now, but they're bigs that can move around and do a lot of different things. And Alex Sarr isn't the best rebounder. AD is like a guy who I would imagine has averaged like 10 double-digit rebounds for a decade, right? I mean, and again, Washington, just like with Utah with the Jaren thing, is not a place where they're going to sign big names, right? I'm sure everybody that you've watched for this, I'm sure everything that you have watched has said this, and you understand it, right? Washington, just like Utah, not going to be a big free agents destination unless they already have a guy that will attract somebody to come there. So getting the fact that you got two all-star slash all NBA players for nothing. Like Trey Young, you gave up an expiring CJ McCollum who's like 34, and Corey Kispert, who wasn't really in your rotation as much as he maybe should have been anyways. And then you trade Anthony Davis for Chris Middleton, who was a guy that was you kind of just had. I believe if he's not expiring, he's got one more year after this. AJ Johnson, who again kind of just a throw in. He might have honestly come with Middleton. I don't even know. Malachi Branham, who I think this is only his first year here, and then Marvin Bagley, who I mean, it's Marvin Bagley, right, in 2026. And the 2 first-round picks that you did give up just don't really it doesn't really matter, right? Like where is it that he said what the picks were? A 2026 Thunder first rounder, probably the 30th pick in the draft, and a 2030 protected, I don't know what kind of protections, Warriors first round pick, but it's in 2030. That might be intriguing because that will most likely be after the Curry era and whatever they might do in this deadline. But I mean, they got 2 guys that can mentor. Like Trey Young could be a mentor to Bub Carrington, a Trey Johnson, Anthony Davis, as you can see. Pee Wee just Sarr is a baby Anthony Davis. Saw Alex Sarr mentor. You know, like that is for nothing. Like this is as good as you can get. This is as good as you can get. Now again, maybe that 2030 first round pick. Okay, so Shea's out for All-Star break, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Like you didn't need to give up anything to get 2 guys that have been all NBA. So here it is. Shout out to Bobby Marks. He always has these. Chris Middleton, yep, last year of his deal, $3 million in bonuses he probably is not going to get. Malachi Branham, $5 million. AJ Johnson, but that's a small enough salary to where you don't really care. And honestly, you gave up Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum, who are all kind of point guard / shooting guards for you. Now, granted, you have like Ryan Nembhard and Brandon Williams over there who are kind of emerging. But like you don't really care, right? And Washington gets Anthony Davis, Jaden Hardy, who's a guy that can play for them. I think Jaden Hardy is promising enough to where he'll be able to play. And then D'Lo, he might get switched to a third team or bought. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's as good as it can get, man. That is as good as it can get for a Washington Wizards team. The Sixers pick up 4 draft picks, including a first, while dropping $3 million below the luxury tax. Again, we'll get to this. But yeah, I mean, I'm just scared about how much we're going to see this lineup. I really don't know how much we will see it. It sounds so good on paper between offensively what they could be, and never mind offensively, defensively with having AD and Sarr as your front court, and you still have like Keyshawn George. You still have Bilal Coulibaly off the bench, who maybe he starts at the 3 and not Keyshawn, whatever. But I mean, you got rid of CJ and Chris Middleton, who you didn't care about. Granted, they were expiring, so they were probably gone no matter what. And then you got rid of a guy, Corey Kispert, you don't really care about. AJ Johnson, you didn't care about. So I mean, good job, Wizards. They've had a great deadline. I mean, even if these guys are getting paid a lot of money, which sure they are. Anthony Davis is, $54 million this year, $58 million next year, and then a player option for $63 million, which I would assume he takes at that point. Who knows what he'll be? And then Trey Young is a guy that even after his contract, which I think it might just be next year, or maybe it's this year, I don't know. He's young and he's only like probably 27, I would assume, to where he can be back and he can still play with these young guys, bro. Like that is about as good as you can get, man. If they can retain these guys, if they can be relatively healthy next year to where we can see this duo play with all these youngins, and actually it seems like they've solidified a core, like they probably believe in all the guys that they didn't trade for these guys. Whether some people were questionable, like myself, about what they feel about Bilal. I mean Trey Johnson and I think Keyshawn and Bub. I mean mainly Trey and Keyshawn. I think were like solidified. Same with Alex Sarr. Bub, I think, was as close to solidify as you can, even though you do acquire Trey Young. Um, but I think some people maybe had some questions about Bilal. Who knows? But like the fact that any of like Cam Whitmore, who's been there, and granted he's going through I think blood clots right now, but like they didn't give up Cam Whitmore, they didn't give up. Um, what else? I mean, there's at least someone else I'm not thinking of. They didn't even have to give up Will Riley. They didn't have to give up. I mean, they didn't have to give up anything, and they still have their pick for this year, which I haven't mentioned. Their pick for this year, um, I think is top eight protected. If not, I think it might go to the Knicks or something. But they're 13-36. They're 14th in the East. They're going to be one of the bottom five teams, one of bottom five to bottom six teams, most likely. I don't think you bringing in Trey Young, honestly, again, there might be a world where Trey Young doesn't even see a Washington Wizards uniform this season. And AD, I don't think AD's not back either. So there might be a world where neither of these guys see the court this season for this team. And then you'll still be bad. And God forbid if you get a top 3 pick. God forbid if they're bad enough to where they have a top 3 pick. I mean, still top. They're going to have probably no lower than 6 or something, maybe 7. But if they get top 3, you're telling me they get to add AJ to that? They get to add Cam Boozer to that? They get to add Darren Peterson to that? I mean, not Atlanta, Washington. Again, depending on the health next year, and I know it's way too early to talk about this. Dog, they could be at least a play-in team, depending on how their offseason looks and how these guys' health and how these guys come back into next season. The Wizards are making their move, bro. And I mean, again, at this point, when you drafted Trey Johnson, if Keyshawn is going to turn into what maybe you think he can, if Bub is going to be a guy that maybe could be in 6 man of the year conversation / most improved next year, you don't really need much more in the draft after this year. If you do get a top 3 pick, even if you get maybe Caleb Wilson at 4, or maybe you have to take another point guard like Mikal Brown from Louisville or Kingston Flemings or something, you're at the point where now if you have AD and Trey Young and they're going to be here to stick around and play games, you're going to be just fine. Dallas, I mean, we knew it was low. I mean, I guess good job for getting 2 first-round picks for him, even though they may not be the most valuable. One might be really valuable. Yeah, I mean, they might not be maybe as valuable as you'd think. Sorry, I'm losing all train of thought right now, but they're just going to have more flexibility, I guess, money-wise, to get built around Cooper Flag. Maybe I don't know what this means with Kyrie in the offseason, because I don't think he's going to be back this season. I don't think anyone's trading for a torn ACL. Kyrie Irving, who's rehabbing right now anyway. So I'm just intrigued with what Dallas's next step is. So there's that. Now, let's do this real quick. I mean, not real quick. I mean, we'll talk about it, of course, but the Philadelphia 76ers are trading Jared McCain to the Thunder for a 2026 Rockets first-round pick and 3 seconds. So, first of all, the Rockets right now are sitting at 31-17, which is the 4th seed out west. They're like 2 to 3 games above the 3 teams below them, which is LA, the Lakers, the Phoenix, and the Timberwolves. So that pick, again, probably going to be in like the 20s, maybe early 20s, depending on how it moves around and stuff. Get win streaks, losing streaks from certain teams, but they get another first, I guess. McCain now gets to go over to the Oklahoma City Thunder and just kind of be the backup point guard there because again, we still haven't seen like a Nikola Topic yet. I mean, AJ Mitchell's been pretty good, so he'll be like a point slash shooting guard. I guess if Shea's going to be missing a couple weeks, then I guess they need another guard anyway. To where he's going to probably play a little bit for them. OKC's using some of those picks and buying low on a guy like Jared McCain, who is coming off injuries. I believe he was just in the G League recently, just trying to, for like a day or two, I think, to get back into it after being injured again. But they bought low on a guy that might have some high value and might be able to turn things around and be a very valuable rotational piece, which he's just sadly hasn't been this year yet. But they bought low. They had to pick. They obviously have picks to spare. They threw one of the ones they don't really care about in the Rockets first for a guy that might be able to turn into something at some point. Philly, I don't know about doing this already. Maybe if that first was a little bit different, then maybe. But I mean, we saw what he did in 20 games last year. Now maybe they think he's injured and he can't bounce back to what he is, and maybe they're just focusing like Tyrese and VJ are our backcourt no matter what. I just don't think you needed to do this yet. So I'm not really understanding it from Philly's side. Now maybe there is something that I'm missing here. The Sixers pick up blah blah blah. I mean, they dropped $3 million below the luxury tax. I guess is good. McCain is under contract for at least 2 years, and he has a team option. OKC still has the Clippers and 76ers pick if they fall out of the top 5, which isn't good. Which isn't good for us. They could also have a first from Utah if they fall out of the top 8. Which again, I don't think they will even after acquiring Jaren. I think the Clippers. I thought the Clippers was I think the Clippers get their pick if it's outside of the top, like 10, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, he would know better than I do, but yeah, I mean, I guess money, sure, but like you don't. I just don't think you had to do this yet. For the Sixers, the trade allows them to receive assets and clear space in the glut of guards. It gives them flexibility to bring Quentin Grimes back in free agency. It also allows them to convert two-way Dominic Barlow. Okay, I guess if Quentin Grimes is going to stick around, then sure. I guess I could see it. But again, maybe there isn't a way. I feel like there's probably a way you could have done this. Maybe not the Dominic Barlow part, but like, I don't know. It just seems a little early. To take back McCain, OKC will need to open up a roster spot. Prior to agreeing the trade, they had 15 players under contract. So they have to they have to waive somebody pretty much. I don't know who that will be. Should we try and predict it? Maybe we should. Let me bring up my other thing here. So, probably like Brendan Carlson's two-way, Kenrich Williams. It might be Ousmane Dieng. If you can't waive a two-way guy like a Brendan Carlson or something, yeah, it might be Ousmane Dieng because they're not Shea, Casey Wallace, Chet, AJ, Isaiah Joe, Lou Dort, Wiggins, Jay Will, Caruso. It's either Kenrich Williams or Ousmane Dieng, I think, because they're, again, not Hartenstein, not J-Dub, not Sorber, or Topic. Or maybe they have another trade to make. Maybe they're going to just sell and get rid of Isaiah Joe or something, send him to a contender. I don't know. I don't. But I think that's everything that we kind of have to talk about here. If something happens, if another big trade happens, if the Ja trade or the Giannis trade happens, I'll put up another video, of course. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these trades, mainly the AD one. But let me know again with the Jared McCain stuff too. Thank you for watching. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. Come back for more.